You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So? What'll that make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide. How to lie. Me, I don't have that problem. Me, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Come on. Make way for the bad guy. There's a bad guy coming through. Better get out of his way.
Kol Halo, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Rachachorash. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, go reading. So that's Scarface, a gangster film. And that scene was specifically written to reflect the wicked elite. How they could sit at a dinner table laughing and joking when they committed the most heinous crimes. And then they're all looking at Tony as the bad guy, despite them all being bad. They're eating at the same restaurant, the same place. But you could hear the jeering, the laughing, oh, there he goes. There's the gangster. They just knew how to hide their shit. He was out with it. So that's on the left-hand side. Let's get the best example we can for the right-hand side. So this is Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3. He, the he being Yahushai HaMashiach, is despised and rejected of men. Why was he despised and rejected of men? This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 18. For he, the he being Yahushua HaMashiach, for he knew that for envy they had delivered him. So he was despised and rejected because they were envious of him. Going back to Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. So imagine you're going around saving people and they hate you for it because they're envious of you. Yahweh Shai sits at the right-hand side of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. To sit beside, to the right-hand side of the only power of the known, like of the creator of the known and unknown universe and beyond. Your righteous vibration is going to be on a completely different level. So going to Matthew 27:18, they were envious of that, they being 2/3 of the nation of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Haitians, West Indians, the 12 tribes. So going back to Isaiah 53:3, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. He had a full head of gray hair and a gray beard at 30. And that should just show you, give you a picture in your head to show you how much grief one would have to have a full head of hair that is gray and a full beard that is gray at 30. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Ultimately, it's because our 2/3 of our nation, they didn't like the Heavenly Father. So of course, they wouldn't like anyone that the Heavenly Father sent. Can you imagine? You're the Heavenly Father and you send your Heavenly Son, and 2/3 of the nation that you created hates your Heavenly Son because they hate you, because their deeds are dark, and our power and our mediators' deeds are completely pure. That's all it boils down to. It's the same reason why harlots and whores envy virtuous women. So jumping down to Matthew chapter 10, verse 22, because as Yahushua men, Yahushua Ratazah, we are as men, we're going to catch flack too. We're going to be acquainted with grief. We're going to be men of sorrows. We're going to be despised and rejected of men. But you should be wearing that as a badge of honor. And yes, it's difficult. And if you're not careful by staying prayed up, you can go overboard. But nah, fuck that, man. Look to Yahweh HaMashiach. So it says here in Matthew 10 and 22, these are the words of Yahweh HaMashiach. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Because you're going to be envied. Can a city that is so well illuminated, can it be hid? It cannot be. Yahweh Shai is our ultimate light. So if we're his men, we're going to have some light in us too that reflects in the world no matter where we go. And because this world is covered in darkness, it hates the light. Like, you don't even have to open your mouth and people hate you. You ask them how they're doing, they don't give a shit to give you an answer. But if they're doing that to us, imagine what they did to Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. But he that endureth. Let me read it again. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 22, the words of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. No other reason. You're gonna if you really consider yourself a follower of Yahweh Shai, you're going to be hated by all men. It's inevitable. Why? Because you're going to be reflecting a light that's unfathomable to people. And when people don't understand something, they fear it and they despise it and they hate it. Now, how much more for Yahweh Shai HaMashiach? Yet he kept his eyes on the prize. He did his mission. All through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We can tap into that. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So if you can navigate through all this grief, all this sorrow, all this hate for Yahweh Shai HaMashiach's namesake, you will be saved. And you'll wake up in your trillion thread count, luxurious bed to your bad virgin wife. You know what I'm saying? To your heart's content. All you have to do was navigate through the bullshit, man. I mean, Yahweh Shai is now sitting on the right-hand side of Yahweh Bashmir Shai because he had a job to do, he didn't deviate from the job, and he got his reward. We just have to follow the same formula. All right, so with that, I hope y'all were edified. Shalom.